Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, Stephanie's Ireland. I'm Stephanie. For today's video I decided I'm going to do the finally fall book tag. I love kind of the fall or autumn as we would say and winter season. It's really fun and cozy and I like all the cozy type of vibes and reads that I read during this time. There's 9 prompts for this tag, so I'm just going to get right into it. Some of these books you might have heard of before because you know me and I just literally talk about all the same books all the time, but a few of them are ones I haven't spoken about on my channel yet, I don't think, so hopefully that'll be entertaining for you all. First prompt is, in fall the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. The book I chose for this one is a book that I have spoken about before and I read recently, and the reason why I gave it 5 stars, I think I mentioned in my wrap up, is because of the vivid setting and how nostalgic it made me feel and how it made me feel like I was in the story itself. And that's Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. This book, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I have spoken about it before, but it's basically set in this secluded college and every single character in this book has fallen in love with the college and it's kind of ingrained in them in some way, and just the descriptions of the college itself felt really kind of old Cambridge, Oxford, the nice historical buildings with like ivy crawling down the front of it and dark halls and stuff like that. And because this book was a kind of thriller mystery and it's a dark academia book, it had loads of those vibes in it and it just made me feel like I was there with its incredible detailed description of the place. The next prompt is, nature is beautiful but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. The book I chose for this one I haven't spoken about before, but it's a book that I read a few years ago when I was younger and it really stuck with me. And it's a love story, but also a main topic in it is grief, and one of our main characters is going through the trauma and the aftermath of losing someone they loved and also kind of trying to maneuver their way through a first love. That book is Words in Deep Blue by Cath Crowley. In this book, basically there's a bookshop. It's like a secondhand bookshop. In some books people write letters to a person, a specific person, or maybe not a specific person at all, and these letters are kept in the books and they're kind of there for the next person to pick up. It's just a phenomenal book and it has so much in so little and it just really impacted me. Again, it's written in such a stunning way that's really immersive. Is that the right way to say that word? Let's ignore it if it isn't. But it's really immersive. It immerses you in the story. I adore this book and I left my own letter in here, which is nice to come back and read sometimes. So well written. So if you haven't read it before, you definitely should. I think it's a real hidden gem. Third prompt is, fall is back to school season. Share a non-fiction book that taught you something new. I don't read any non-fiction books, so for this prompt I actually kind of maneuvered it a bit and picked a poetry book. It's technically non-fiction. The book that I chose for this prompt is Flux by Orion Carlotto. The reason I chose this is because it was the first poetry book I ever bought and I ever read all the way through, and to kind of fulfill this prompt, this book kind of opened the world of poetry up to me and showed me that there's so much poetry out there. I have always been a fan of poetry and love writing poems and reading poems, but I've only kind of read miscellaneous poems or poems that were assigned for school and stuff like that. It taught me, like I said, so much about poetry and the world of poetry, and it also taught me the different styles and ways I can write my own poetry, which is obviously amazing. The next prompt is, in order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people we love. Name a fictional family / household / friend group that you'd like to be a part of. I've mentioned this book before, and if you know me and if you have watched my channel, you know that I adore this whole book series and world with my entire heart. Like, it literally owns me. There was literally no other thing I could have said. Like, there was nothing else I could have picked for this prompt. The book I chose for this prompt, of course, is none other than The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I mean, is there any explaining to do? Of course I want to be a part of all of them. I just realised they don't really have a name. Oh, they do. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. The Gang Z. Yeah, I just want to be a part of the Gang Z. Honestly, I've never wanted anything as much in my entire life. I love every single one of the characters that are in that friend group, and I relate to every single one of them, and it might be a bit of clash personalities and I don't know how I would fit in to the friend group, but I mean, everyone wants to be a part of the gang C, like who doesn't? The next prompt is, the nights are getting darker, share a dark creepy read. Again, if you know me and if you've watched any of my videos, I don't read scary books. I just don't do it. The furthest I'll go is like a dark academia book. So the book I chose for this prompt is a dark academia book. It's called These Violent Delights by M.L. Rio.
So I'm an idiot and I said the wrong author's name because there's so many These Violent Delights now. So the author is actually called Mika Nemirever. So yeah, I apologize for that.
This one is a dark academia type one. I read it a while ago, so I'm not really certain on the specifics of the plot, but basically it follows these two college students who end up being friends and kind of have an intense fascination and relationship with each other. It just kind of shows the different levels of attachment and when a relationship and falling in love becomes obsession, and kind of different ways you interpret love and different ways you display love. It was just such a phenomenal book. It was so well executed and immersive, and it just was stunning. And it was really creepy. Like, it was creepy. It was weird. The ending of it, if you've read it, you'd know the ending literally, like, I was not expecting it, and it was crazy. It was crazy and really creepy. And I won't lie, I did not read it at night because it kind of a little bit spooked me out and gave me nightmares. The next prompt is, fall is the perfect time for storytelling by the fireside. Share a book wherein someone is telling a story. This was a hard prompt for me to fulfill. I couldn't really think of a book I've read that like is telling a story, because like all books tell a story, you know. I have mentioned this book before, so I'm not going to go into detail, but it's The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. In this book we follow a journalist who is writing all about Evelyn Hugo, the main character, who's a celebrity's life. So yeah, it's a story of a story. It's a story of this woman's life, and she's telling it to a woman to be told to the world. So I guess it's a storytelling story. The next prompt is, the days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. For this one, I had to choose this book because this book actually made me cry from how much my heart swelled and how much my just whole being felt so happy. Like, I was bawling because I was so happy. I'm sure, again, you've heard of this book. It's The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. It's one of my favourite books ever. I cannot wait to get it physically so I can annotate it and just have it up on my shelf. Like, it's stunning cover, but also the characters are just so beautiful and so heartwarming and kind, and oh, I just want to give them all a cuddle. I actually just want to give them all a cuddle. This whole book feels like a warm hug. Like, it's beautiful. This book is set in a world where there's magical creatures, and our main character is kind of like a social worker for orphanages that house these kind of unwanted magical beings who are children, and he has to go to one of the orphanages one day and stay there a while and kind of inspect it, and he ends up kind of, you know, falling in love with the family, with the kids, with others, and it's just so beautiful and heartwarming. I would literally recommend it to anyone and everyone. Like, you will love it. I think anyone could pick it up and love it. It's just phenomenal, and it's literally a warm hug, like I said. The second last prompt is, fall returns every year. Name an old favourite that you'd like to return to soon. Again, this is another book I've spoken about before, but I'm just talking about it because it's one that's on my mind right now that I really want to reread and annotate. I don't want to annotate this specific copy because I do have another copy behind my booth sign. Do you like my booth sign? It's so cute. It's behind there, you can't see it. And that is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I'm not going to talk about this much because I literally talk about this every single video I film, so I'm sure you're all getting sick of it, but it's a Greek mythology retelling about Achilles and Patroclus and their love story, and it's heartwarming, heartbreaking, eye-opening. It's just so good. It's so good. It's written amazingly. It's the shit. It's one of the best books written ever in the world, I think. Yeah, I just want to reread it so bad and annotate it because there's so many stunning, beautiful lines and moments in it, and I just need to get to it soon. And then the last prompt is such a cute one, and I honestly couldn't really find an answer for it, but like, I have one that's kind of an answer. So the prompt is, fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favourite cozy reading accessories. And what I said was a cup of tea, because Any single time it's the night time and I want to read and I want to have a cozy time, I always make myself a cup of tea. And it's not like, don't be thinking I make some sort of jasmine shit or like, I don't know what even other teas you could have. But like, I have the typical Irish tea. That's like an accessory I have to have when I'm reading a book, especially if it's a cozy book and I'm reading at night. I just love it. And then the only other thing I can think of is like a nice blanket. The answer I have for this prompt is definitely a cup of tea, a good cup of tea, some warm blankets, and my salt lamp. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, my socials are all in the description down below. If you have any cozy reads that you think I should read that I'd like, please let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you want. Bye!